What's up? It's Gabby and we're back in the kitchen. Today I am making spinach and pepper jack stuffed Cajun chicken breasts. That's a mouthful. I adapted this recipe off of a recipe that I found online that wasn't exactly keto friendly. Only thing I really had to do was remove breadcrumbs from the recipe. Otherwise, the recipe is really pretty keto friendly. It's meat, cheese, and greens, so it has all kinds of good stuff in it, plus seasonings and olive oil. So we've got a little bit of fats going in there too, and then it's baked. So I will add the recipe in the description box below, the way I made it, and I will also link to the original recipe to give credit where credit is due. I'm gonna give you what the recipe originally called for. Today I'm gonna be 1.5ing that recipe though. The original recipe calls for 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast. So that usually comes out to about 4. Today I'm making 6 chicken breasts. 4 to 6 ounces of shredded pepper jack cheese. If you like a more cheesy dish, you can have the 6 ounces. 1 cup of frozen spinach, thawed and drained. You could also use fresh cooked spinach. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. I'm using the Creole seasoning back there. This is my favorite that I found. It's low carb, sugar-free, non-GMO. Actually, it's 0 carb. And it's really good. It's Cajun's Choice Creole seasoning. I just got that at my local grocery store at Harris Teeter. You're gonna need salt and pepper and lots of toothpicks. Along with that, you will need a baking sheet lined with foil to make cleanup easier. You'll need a cutting board, a knife, a meat tenderizer or meat pounder, a mixing bowl, small mixing bowl, possibly a scale if you really want to measure it out to the T, but you could probably guesstimate as well as a brush for brushing on the olive oil, and your measuring cups and spoons. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is flatten our chicken breast to about 1/4 inch thick. So we're gonna take a piece of plastic wrap and we're going to put our chicken breast, a chicken breast, on the plastic wrap, fold it over, and we're gonna pound it with our mallet. That's pretty good. All right, we got a nice flat chicken breast. Now I've already done that to the rest of the 5 chicken breasts. So we have some flat pieces of chicken breast here. And we want to season these chicken breasts on both sides with salt and pepper. I'm using sea salt. The original recipe calls for ground black pepper, but I don't have a pepper grinder unfortunately at the moment. So I'm just using regular old pepper. Alright, so I just got regular old pepper. I'm gonna season these guys, and I would season with salt lightly because the pepper jack cheese is gonna be pretty salty, and also the Cajun seasoning is also gonna be pretty salty as well. So I'm just gonna do a little sprinkling on each side of the salt. I've had this recipe come out a little on the salty side because I wasn't too careful with the salt. right, so we're ready for the next step. Okay, so now we're gonna mix the pepper jack cheese and the spinach together. So I'm gonna measure out 1.5 cups of spinach. This is drained, thawed and drained. You can also use fresh cooked spinach. I've never tried it that way just because it's so easy to have frozen spinach in the freezer. But I assume it would be quite tasty that way as well. All right, so there's my 1.5 cups. And remember, I'm using 1.5 cups because I'm 1.5ing this recipe. I'm not doubling it, but I'm 1.5ing it. All right, I'm gonna use 8 ounces of cheese since I am 1.5ing it. I might use 10, depending on how this looks. 8 will probably do pretty well though, so. I'm just using my scale so I can measure it out. And I'm 1.5ing this recipe because this is a recipe that my boyfriend will eat as well with me. And I want leftovers to make easy dinners for the rest of the week. All right, we're at 6.4. This is a lot of cheese. All right, there's 8 ounces. All right, and we're just gonna mix it all together. All right. Looking pretty good, except for it all over the place. All right, and then we are going to stuff. Okay, so we got our flattened chicken breast, we've got our spinach and cheese mixture. We're gonna stuff these bad boys. So we're gonna use about 1/4 cup of the mixture per breast. This part gets to be a little tricky because the wrapping, the rolling of the breasts can get a little crazy. So that's why you gotta use a ton of toothpicks. So you're just gonna kind of roll the chicken breast. Up. And then you're gonna use toothpicks to secure. And you'll wanna make sure you keep a count of how many toothpicks you use for each breast, if you can. I don't do that very well. The person that created the recipe said she uses about 8 toothpicks per chicken breast. I don't think I've ever used that many. Well, maybe I have. I try to get them with as little toothpicks as possible. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toothpicks. I think that'll suffice. All right, and we'll keep going. Okay, so now we have all our stuffed chicken breasts, and those of you that are looking carefully will notice that there is now a 7th chicken breast, and that's because I have so much extra of the spinach and cheese mixture that I just went ahead and used the extra chicken breast that I had in those packs. So I stuffed a 7th chicken breast, and the recipe says you can use this mixture on top of the chicken breasts. I never know how well this works because they're so rounded. I don't know how well it's gonna stay on there, but I always do end up doing it because I always have extra spinach and cheese mixture. So now we're going to coat the chicken breast in olive oil and season it with the Creole seasoning. So it calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm gonna use about 2.5, see how it does for me, because I have extra chicken breasts in my package, in this, oh, you know what I'm talking about. I'm having word problems today. And we're gonna get this all over. So we're gonna flip this over and everything, all of these over, and get the bottom side. But I'm gonna do all the top sides first, then flip them over, and then get the bottom side, and then start seasoning the bottom side, flip them over, and then season the rest of it. Ultimately, we're gonna have these seam facing up. So that's why I'm coating the bottom first and then moving them back flipped over. These are actually pretty coated on the bottom already. I'll just give a final coat. Okay, so it looks good. And it says use 2 tablespoons of the Cajun Creole seasoning, Cajun seasoning, whatever. I just do it by eye. I'm not gonna measure it out. So all our chicken breasts are seasoned with the Creole seasoning now, and I'm just gonna somehow top these guys with the rest of this spinach and cheese mixture. It kind of does stick on top, so that might work. This will, of course, melt all over. But that'll be delicious. This is why we foil our pan, because this is gonna get stuck everywhere. I love taking recipes that are not low carb and still making them to be low carb. I think that is so much fun. We're gonna stick these into our preheated oven of 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, they are fresh out of the oven. They look glorious. And it is time to put one on a plate. Which one do we choose? How about this one? I'm just setting it on some butter lettuce. I really wanted some spinach or something, or I was gonna make some zucchini to go with it, but I forgot. And so you have tons of leftovers, or you can share it with your keto partner or non-keto partner. And that is dinner. Make sure you get all your toothpicks out. All right, and there we have it. A lovely stuffed chicken breast. We've got all of the toothpicks out. I'm gonna cut this open for you guys so you can see just how nice and stuffed it is on the inside. And there is your Cajun stuffed chicken breast. So that's it. Now it's time to eat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives you a good idea for what else you can make on your keto journey for dinner. Let me know if you try it and what you think. And I will see you again on Sunday for my weekly check-in. Bye!